What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be setting up a new beginner-friendly fish tank. And the fish that are going to be going into this new setup are some golden white cloud mountain minnows, which are a really great beginner-friendly fish that don't even require a heater. So one thing I have done in preparation for this setup is I've added a black background. And this was really simple. It's literally just a piece of card that I've cut to size and taped to the back of the tank. So these are the bits of hardscape that I've got available to me. These are all sort of like left over from like past projects and stuff. So what I was thinking of doing is using like a few of these smaller pieces and trying to like fit them together somehow to create some sort of cool structure. But after I thought about that for a little while, I thought, you know what, this is actually supposed to be a real easy, beginner-friendly setup. So I thought, why not just use one big piece? So I decided to go for this bad boy. So in preparation, I've taken this outside and I've given it a good hosing off. I then decided to check whether or not it would float or not. So I filled up a bucket of water, threw it in there, and it did indeed float. So what I did was I got a piece of slate, which I had sort of knocking about in the garden, drilled a hole in it, and then I screwed the slate to the bottom of the driftwood with a stainless steel screw. If though, for whatever reason, you don't want to drill a hole in a piece of slate and screw it to your driftwood, you could always use super glue or some aquarium safe silicone. But that being said, that is all ready now and there's no way that's going to float. So let's get it into the tank and see how it looks. So that fits pretty nicely in there. I've put it at a bit of an angle because I want to leave this little gap here because that is where the filter is going to go. But other than that, that looks pretty nice in there. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it back out because I want to start attaching some live plants to it. So in this tub we have the plants that are available to me. I've also got the golden white clouds in here somewhere. They seem to be all hiding currently. Oh, there's one down there. But they're all eagerly awaiting their new setup. But yeah, the plants that I have available are Java Fern, Anubias, moss balls and Java Fern, and these are all epiphyte plants, which means that they are attached to things like the wood or stone or rocks or stuff like that. Basically, you don't plant them into the substrate. It also means they're going to pull all of their nutrients from the water column itself, which is good because it means it's going to help keep our nitrates down. So there's a couple of different ways that you can attach your plants to your hardscape. One is you could just use some cotton, that's quite a good way, or you can also use super glue. It has to be the instant contact cyanoacrylate super glue though, and that, if you use that, it is completely fish safe, plant safe, shrimp safe, it's just safe. Apparently as soon as it dries it is completely inert, so yeah, you can use that in your fish tanks to attach plants to your hardscape or do any of the bits and bobs you want to do. So I'm probably going to be using maybe a bit of both in this. So I'm going to start by grabbing a few plants out of the tub and start positioning it on my hardscape. So I've got 3 pieces of small Anubias in here, Anubias Nana I think it is, and I've also got a really big piece here. So I think what I'm going to try and do is get the big piece attached first, and I reckon if I can get it wedged in there somewhere, I think that is going to look quite cool. So I'm going to attempt to get that glued on, and yeah, we'll see how it looks. So that worked pretty well there. So what I've got to do now is make sure I don't nudge it and just make sure I keep it wet as well. We don't want it to dry out. Also, I don't know if you noticed, at the beginning I sprayed down the piece of wood first. Apparently that helps the glue dry quicker if the wood is wet before you push the plant against it. But yeah, that looks pretty cool. So I'm going to try and find places to put the 3 smaller bits now. And there we go, all of the Anubias has been added. 2 of the bits I didn't even have to glue. I literally just, like this one here and this one here, literally just sort of like I wedged in and it held it perfectly. And that looks really cool. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get this into the tank and we can start adding the substrate. Okay, so I'll put it in the tank and it looks really cool. The reflections are an absolute nightmare though, so it's difficult to get on camera, but it does look awesome. I've just got to remember to keep spraying it down because I don't want these plants to dry out. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how that all looks. So next up, I'm going to go and grab some sand because I'm going to be using sand as the substrate. Going through a bit of a sand phase at the moment. Could use gravel if you wanted, but yeah, sand or gravel, perfectly fine. So I'm going to go and grab my gravel and start getting it in the tank. Okay, so this is the substrate I've gone for. It is sand. I just said gravel a minute ago. I meant sand. So it's just some like stuff from my local fish store. Nice natural colour. I've already taken it outside and given it a good rinse off. Proper like hosed it all down, made sure it's nice and clean. So it's all ready to go into the tank. So I'm going to start getting it in now. I'm going to try and slope it a little bit towards the back, I think. But I do have to bear in mind that the filter is going to be sat in that back right-hand corner. So let's get it in. Okay, so that's the sand in. Looks a little bit messy at the moment, but I think that'll look better once the water goes in, which is what I'm going to do next because I'm a little bit worried about the plants drying out. I'm sure they'll be fine, especially as I keep spraying them down. But I think, yeah, I'm going to add the water and the rest of the plants can go in once the water's in. So before I add the water, I've added a plate and I'm also going to add my jug with the holes drilled in the bottom. And that is just going to help disperse the water and hopefully stop the sand from all getting messed up. Okay guys, so the water is in and it's looking pretty damn good. I am at this point going to add some dechlorinator though, so pretty important step. Make sure you add dechlorinator. Okay, dechlorinator is in, so next I want to get this Java fern out of here and attach it to a rock because I think I would like to try sort of putting it in at the back there. I mean, it looks quite good without it, but we'll try it with and see how it looks. Okay, so that is stuck, so let's get it into the tank. Okay, so the Java fern is in and I really like it. I wasn't too sure initially when I first put it in, but yeah, I think I like it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add some rocks. So this is what I've got to work with. We've got a few different sizes. We've got some good sized rocks here. We've got some, I don't know what size that is. I think it's like 20mm gravel there. We've got some pea gravel there, and then we've got some nice fine gravel there. So by using all these different sizes, that's going to give some like really nice textures and just make the tank look a bit more natural. So I'm also going to add a few of the rocks that are already currently in the White Clouds tub here because they will be covered in beneficial bacteria. Okay guys, so I'm pleased with how that's all looking. I used the technique that I've seen MD Fish Tanks and Serpa Design use, where you use different sizes of gravel and rock just to give a really nice natural textured look. So next up, I'm going to add these couple of moss balls. So we'll grab them. These are currently floating, but they will probably sink at some point. So we'll just pop them in. They'll be covered in beneficial bacteria as well, so they'll be good. And I'm now gonna see if I can grab, oh, I can't really see it, but yeah, there's a big lump of Java moss there, so I'm gonna break a bit of that off and get some of that in. That's all of the plants in now, so the only thing left to do besides putting the fish in is to get the filter in. So the filter I'll be using is the one out of the quarantine tub. Because this is a beginner setup, obviously I'm just using a nice simple sponge filter. This is obviously an established sponge filter, which means I'll be able to add the fish straight in. If you don't understand what the aquarium cycle is, or the nitrogen cycle, I definitely suggest you watch a couple of videos on it, because by understanding that, you will definitely be a lot more successful in fish keeping. So I'm going to put a link in the description to a video by KGTropicals. They did an awesome video on explaining the nitrogen cycle. So if you don't know what that is, definitely go and watch that video after you've watched this one, obviously. But yeah, I'm going to move that filter over. That is going to filter the water, and it's also, because it's run by air, it's going to oxygenate the water. So we'll get that put in now. Okay, so the filter is in and running. I think it looks all right. I know some people hate the look of sponge filters, but you know, it's doing its job and that's what counts. So all I need to do now is to get the fish in. So I'm going to do that by, I'm going to net them out and put them into this jug. Obviously I'll put some water in that jug first. And then I'm going to do a quick drip acclimation, just because the temperature, even though I did try to get the temperatures the same, there's like, that's 18.1. Actually, they are pretty similar. I'm going to do a drip acclimation anyway, just to be on the safe side. So I'll put a little bit of water in the bottom of that jug, get the fish in, and then we'll get a little drip going and get them acclimatised to their new tank. Okay, so I've caught all the fish. Didn't take too long in the end. And I've got the drip acclimation going. That jug's just holding that pipe in place. So we've got it dripping away. So I think that'll probably take 20 minutes, half an hour. And then we'll get them in. So I'll see you then. Okay guys, acclimation is done. Let's get them in. Okay guys, so the white clouds are in. They're all sort of huddled in a little group there at the moment, probably a little bit stressed out, wondering what's going on. But they'll be fine, they'll settle in. So what I'll do is, I'll pick the camera back up tomorrow and we'll see how they're getting on. Okay guys, so it is now a few days later, but the tank is looking awesome. Let's check it out. So as you can see, the water is crystal clear. Some slight tannins that have been released from the driftwood, but nothing too major, and nothing that a couple of water changes won't sort out. The fish are all doing well, swimming around the tank, having a great time, feeding well, so they're all doing good, and the plants are also doing well. And just to mention about the plants, because I think I forgot to mention it earlier on in the video, they are all low light, easy level plants, so you don't need any sort of like fancy light to grow these plants. Any light will be fine. You know, if you buy a tank and it comes with a light, that should be fine, just use that. They should grow perfectly well under it. And as far as like ferts go, liquid fertilizers and stuff like that, you shouldn't really need any. As long as you've like got a few fish in there producing waste, they should be fine. That being said though guys, that is going to bring us to the end of this video. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button, drop a little comment, let me know what you think of the new setup, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.